Now we're going to talk about the tools that you'll need to make the blankets. To start, you'll want some kind of cutting mat. Make sure that it has measurements on it so that you can measure the fringe. You'll also want a pair of scissors. Sharp fabric scissors are probably best. You'll also want a crochet hook, and then you will also need some kind of blade or tool to cut the fringe and some of the edging on the fabrics. So you'll need a rotary blade, and I use what I call a skip cutter or a perforator blade. Now we're going to talk about alternate tools to make these blankets. First, you'll want a cutting mat of some kind, something like this. This one is a smaller version of a self-healing mat, but it's flexible and works really well for cutting. You'll want it big enough to be able to cut your fringe and your fabric. You could also use a ruler that is at least 9 inches or 23 centimeters to measure your fringe and fabric. Or you could use a tape measure like this one. To cut, you can use a sharp pair of fabric scissors. Make sure that they're nice and sharp, otherwise you'll have trouble getting through the fabric. You'll also want something to cut the holes in for the fringe. And when I first started, this was the tool that I used. It's called an X-Acto knife. But you can also use different types of perforators. I thought maybe somebody might even use a pocket knife, but you can be creative. And then you'll also want a crochet hook, and the best crochet hooks are the size between 3.25 and 4.25. So they're small enough to get through the holes, but big enough to grab onto the fleece to pull through the holes. And those are the tools that I have used, and there are lots of alternatives. Happy tying!